guys, and welcome to another episode of the Verified Podcast. This is your girl, Gabby, and welcome, all right? So if this is your first time, hey girl, welcome for the first time visitors, shout out to you. If you have continuously came back, you are the real MVP, and we appreciate your support. So make sure that you guys are sharing this podcast. We're really trying to grow here. We're really trying to reach the masses and impact as many women as we can about this thing of mental, physical, and spiritual health. It is something that is so close to my heart, something that I'm really passionate about, and something that I also want you to become passionate about, because I believe that for each and every one of us who are listening to this, we're listening to it for a reason. Because we know that we're in need of something. We may not know what that something is, but I hope that you're able to grab nuggets from this podcast and something that you can apply to your life, because that's what this whole thing is about. It's about practical application. So this is the podcast where we talk about just how verified we are. And for those of you who don't know what that means to us here at the podcast, verified basically was birthed in a place when I was going through like some social media anxiety, right? And so I found myself constantly comparing myself to the next woman, to what she was doing, looking at people's highlight reels and comparing their highlight reel to my reality. And the truth is that that's just not, first of all, it's not healthy. And then second of all, that's not their reality either. They're only showing us the best parts of them. And so this podcast was birthed out of that. And I knew that if it was something that I struggled with, that I knew that I was not the only woman who struggled with things like this. I'm not the only person who struggles with self-doubt, or who struggles with insecurities, or who struggles with body shaming. Even though I am a personal trainer, there are still things that I struggle with there, and you can see that on my Instagram. I'm pretty transparent about some of the things that I'm going through on my Instagram. So make sure that you're looking at that. But yeah, so that's where this podcast came from. The whole point is to help you understand that you don't have to be well known on Instagram. You don't need to be verified by anyone else. You don't need for people to give you the accolades or to put the sticker by your name to tell you who you are, because the reality of the fact is that you already know who you are. You may have not stepped into that reality yet, but there is a purpose for you. And so that's what this podcast is about. We're about practical application, getting you to a point of where you are more confident, not only in your body, but that you're confident in your mental space, that you're confident in your spiritual space, and that you are protecting that, because it's so important that you protect who you are and who you are becoming. So that's what this podcast is about. So welcome, okay? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And that's just as classic old school church as it gets. So it is officially July, which means that 6 months of this year is already gone, and we only have 6 months left. So I don't know where you are with your fitness goals. I don't know what you've been doing, but listen, sis, it's time, okay? Let's cut out the games. Let's cut out the excuses, everything that we've told ourselves leading up till now as to why we cannot just be becoming better women, healthier women. Let's cut it out. It's 6 months into the year, okay? And we only have 6 months left. And it's not too late to get started. It's not too late. And to kind of go off of that, let's talk about the fact that it is Childhood Obesity Month. Now, I touched and I talked about this on my Instagram account a couple of weeks ago. But childhood obesity is a thing, and it's an epidemic that has been running since about the 1970s. And as a matter of fact, it's tripled, more than tripled since the 1970s. And so that means that we're not going in the right direction. We're actually going backwards. It's getting worse. And so, I mean, for me at least, it's a touchy subject to bring up, because I'm not a parent. And the last thing I want to do is try and tell a parent how to parent. But it's important that we at least bring awareness to people or to children or to the parents of those who we see are struggling with this, because it's real. And the reality of it is that obese children evolve into obese adults. And that comes with a lot of other things, and so we want to get ahead of it if we can. And the best way to do that is by bringing awareness to our family, to our friends, to the parents who may be struggling with a child who has childhood obesity, giving them resources, actually caring about what's going on. It's important. And so not only do I love working with women, but I also love working with children. I have nieces and nephews. So do you. You might have children. And so just being empathetic and, trying to be helpful where you can, it's just going to be super important. So jumping back into the fact that we're halfway through the year. Okay. So like I was saying earlier, I don't know what you've been doing as it pertains to your health and your fitness goals. Earlier this year, I talked about the percentage of people who tend to stick to their fitness goals, throughout the year. So I don't know where you are with that, but I do want to let you know that it's not too late. If you have not started, it's not too late to get started. And if you're not where you want to be, you should just keep going, keep running the race. One of the biggest things that I think that happens is that we think that it's too late to start things, like when it comes to your fitness goals, like because it's summer, you think that it's too late to get started. You think that you just don't have the time to do it. And time is like one of those things that I hear from so many people. I think it's probably the number one thing that kind of holds us back, because people are just like, sis, like who's going to work out for me? I don't have the time. And I am a huge believer that we make time for the things that are important to us. And so the reality of the fact is that I can sit here and I can give you all the tips and tools. I can literally lay out a program in front of you, but nothing's going to change until you decide to make that change for yourself. And a lot of times we think that we lack the discipline, and that's not true either. You have discipline, because think about it. You have enough discipline to go to work every day. You have enough discipline to do the things that are important to you, but sometimes our discipline is misplaced. So what would happen if you took the same discipline that you use to go to work every day and you decided to put that same discipline into what you're eating, into how you're moving every day, into making yourself go to the gym even when you don't feel like it? That's what's going to make the change. So it's not that you lack the discipline, because you have discipline. It's just misplaced. It's not that you lack time, because you have time, even if it's 10 minutes. A lot of times we think that we have to be working out for hours and hours in order for us to see results. And that's just not true. Even if you decided and said, okay, this week I'm going to dedicate 10 minutes a day to me moving, to me walking, to me doing something that's going to get me active. Listen, that's better than nothing. It's better than what you were doing before. So don't allow for time. Don't allow for your thinking that you don't have discipline. Don't allow for those barriers to hold you back. The biggest thing that comes with health is going to be your mental state. I've been reading this book, and it's talking about attitude and behaviors. And it's basically saying how our attitude is a reflection of our behaviors. And whatever our attitude is, that's what our behaviors are going to be, because your attitude is a reflection of your heart. So if in your heart you don't believe or you don't think that I'm worthy of being healthy, that I'm always going to be this size, that, I don't know how to eat healthy, if that's your attitude about yourself, then your behavior is that you're not going to eat healthy. You're not going to work out. So a lot of this kind of goes back to what you think and what you believe about yourself. So I'm going to give you guys some quick tips that helped me as I was beginning my fitness journey. And I say journey because it is a daily journey. Like, this is not something that you just do for 3 weeks and then you think that, hey, okay, I got this thing down packed. Because the thing of it is that you should be continuously evolving. Your goals should be changing. And so therefore, that makes it a journey, and that you're going to have your ups and your downs. And so be mentally prepared for that. But one of the things that I had to begin to do was plan ahead, especially if I knew that I was going to have a long day at work. So I knew that if I came home from work, I would not want to go back to the gym. So what I began doing was packing my gym clothes and taking them to work with me so that it would eliminate the excuse of me coming back home and saying that, oh, I'm so tired, I don't feel like going back out. I don't have to do that now because I have my clothes with me. So I can go either during my lunch hour or I can go after work and I can get in a quick workout. So begin to plan ahead. Take your gym clothes to work with you so that you can eliminate the excuse of that I'm tired or I don't have enough time. Tip number 2, make sure that you are taking healthier snacks with you and make sure that you're keeping water by you all day long. Why is this so important? If you're anything like me, I'm a snacker. I love to snack throughout the day, in between meals. And so what I was doing previously before I started my fitness journey is that I would grab chips from the vending machine. I would go to the cafeteria and I would grab whatever they had on hand. But when I began to bring my own snacks and my water with me, then that helped to eliminate all of the other processed things I was eating. So making sure that you're bringing your own snacks, make sure that they are healthier snacks for you, and making sure that you're keeping water at your desk at all times. And what water does is that it helps to curb the hunger pains, okay? So that whenever you do get ready to eat your next big meal or whenever you do get ready to snack, that you're not snacking and that you're not overeating. And actually, that's a really, really great tip. If you are overeating, what I like to do is drink a glass of water before I eat. Which helps to fill up my stomach a little bit. And then I'll drink a glass of water after I eat. And so that helps to keep me not only fuller longer, but it helps to curb how much I'm eating while I'm eating. And last but not least, this is probably my favorite one, but learning to say no. And I want you to grab onto that word and I want you to tuck it down into your spirit until you can't tuck it anymore, because I really want this to get down into your vocabulary. Learning to say no is going to be so important. Not only saying no to yourself, but also learning to say no to other people, because the truth of the matter is that people don't know what you're working toward unless you verbally communicate that to them, right? And oftentimes is like people will pull you in each and every direction, getting you to do what they need for you to do for them when you're not able to do what you need to do for you. So learning to say no is so important. And I know that that's hard because a lot of times we want to be able to do all the things, but we can't. We can't do all the things and take care of ourselves at the same time. So learning to say no, learning to turn down things, okay? Learning to turn your back to the plate, okay? And when I talk about pushing back the plate, I don't mean restrictive eating, because that's not something I support. I fully support you having a fully balanced plan that will allow for you to eat some of the things that you enjoy, but that you're eating those in moderation. So that's it for today, guys. I hope those tips have helped you. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to hit me on my Instagram. Make sure that you're following me, chiseled_curves. And make sure that you rate, subscribe, and that you're sharing this podcast with your friends. As I said, we are trying to grow and we want to be able to impact more women just like you. So make sure that you're doing your part on helping us get the word out there. So thank you again. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.